Hello there. Today is Tuesday, March 16th, and it's Commissioner in the car, and I am back in the car. What does that mean? That means that the Onondaga County Board of Elections is back in the office. We never closed down our office during the entire pandemic, except for the 2-week break that we had because of the COVID outbreak during last year's absentees. We have been in the office and had public hours throughout the entire pandemic, which is actually going back to a year ago today. Was the first case of COVID that came out in Onondaga County was today that we knew about. And today is when, a year ago, things started going weird. And in that last year, we always had 3 or 4 hours of open office hours last spring, and also also we had this last January we went back to a schedule where we had 3 days at home and 2 days in the office for everybody in the office, that was working really well. But now, March 15th, all county employees have been asked to come back to the office, and so we're back. We're still open 8:30 to 4:30, and we're still, we've been open 8:30 to 4:30 since last May, and before that we were open for 4 hours a day. So we have not really stopped here at the Board of Elections, and continue to work to get things ready for this fall. And what's going on today? Well, today are village elections. The village elections in March are today, March 16th. And there are 4 villages in Onondaga County having elections: Jordan, Fabius, Skaneateles, and Manlius. These are the villages of those areas. Skaneateles and Manlius and Fabius are also towns, but those villages are inside those towns are the ones having elections today. And I see some questions being posted. I'm going to get to all the questions at the end of Commissioner Carr, because I want to get through a couple of things. So village elections have the option to have elections in March, or in June, or in November. 5 villages in Onondaga County of our 15 villages have moved to November elections, but the others are scattershot between March and June. And they don't always have elections every year because their offices are 2 to 4 years. So this year, in March, today, village elections are happening in Skaneateles, Fabius, Manlius, and Jordan. When they happen not in November, the village has the option to run their own election or ask the Board of Elections to run the election. We only run the Manlius village election in this cycle. The other 3 elections are run by the village clerks. We don't have anything to do with that unless they ask us to come in after the fact to audit the election. That's the only thing that we have to do with it. So polling location, poll hours, candidates on the ballot, all of that is done by the village clerks. In Manlius, we did do everything, nuts to bolts. Petitions, machines, ballots, all of that. Some of the villages use our machines. Some of the villages use paper ballots as well if we don't run their elections. Polling hours are determined by the village. The one in Manlius today is 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's not because we run it. That's just always been the village of Manlius polling hours. The polling hours are in Skaneateles and Fabius and Jordan are noon to 9 today. So now we will be posting the results of these elections on our Facebook page of the Manlius election. The ones that are in Fabius, Jordan, and Skaneateles, you have to go to them for those results. To the village clerks. We don't have those. We won't be posting those results. That's up to the village clerks of how they want to post those. So that is what's going on with the village elections. David has a couple questions in the chat. What do the one house budgets have for them for election reforms? Well, good. Thanks for asking. Yes. Last couple days, the one house budgets have been out for the New York Senate and the Assembly. In the Senate, both of the budgets are really good for the state board of elections. They're fully funding some programs, or maybe not fully funding, but funding at higher levels than they have in the past. The Assembly budget for county boards has a capital funding, and the Senate budget has a aid to localities funding for expansion of early voting. So there's good news in both budgets. It would be best if both of those things go through and be part of the final budget that is passed on April 1st. If both of those things go through, then once again, the state will be helping the county boards pay for expansion of early voting and more technology to do other things like absentee ballot, counting and that kind of stuff. So it's really I really hope that they will pass both those. It's up to the governor's office and the both houses to negotiate those in. So if you want that funding, if you want your elections funded in a proper way, or in a more proper way anyways, call your local state representative and the governor's office and ask for the election funding to be part of the final budget. David asked me, is it a good decision to bring everyone back to the office? I'll tell you, it wasn't my decision. I'm here, and I'm going to honor the decision that is made, but it wasn't my decision. Our original plan was to bring people in next week for the petition filing period, but really start phasing people back in mid-April after people had a chance to get vaccinated. The public employees just started to be able to be vaccinated, and obviously you have to get an appointment, and then you have to get 2 shots, and then you have to wait 2 weeks after the second shot. My second shot is until March 25th. So it's a concern. We're going to do everything we can to keep people safe. We're doing temperature checks. We're doing everybody has to wear a mask when they're not at their desk. Everybody that comes in the building has to wear a mask. We're doing the best we can to keep people safe. I'm going to leave it in the hands of the county health department. I assume that they have signed off on this since this was a directive from the county executive, and that's all I can do. I could not get agreement to phase in, so we have to have 2 commissioners agree on things here, and it's just me. So on wanting to phase, so we're back, and we're going to make it as safe and for everyone as possible, and hopefully, I know many people in our office are getting their vaccine or are waiting for it. So I hope that we can avoid what we saw last year. We don't have a lot of public traffic coming in right now, so it's really just us. So it's on us to keep each other safe. We have a standing mandate that if somebody doesn't feel well, they should be working from home. And we still have the work from home options for that, or child care issues that come up because of COVID are still there. So while we're back in the office, we do have way more liberal policies about working from home than we did last year during this time, because we invested in secure laptops and equipment to be able to have workers work from home, and so we're working on that. Will there be another online portal for absentee ballots this year? Yes, I believe there will be. There's a couple of bills. I believe they've already been signed, but we are planning for an online portal for absentee ballots this year. Absentee ballots, well, we don't even know who's on the ballot. So absentee ballots probably won't be available until about 45 days before the election. The election for the primary is on June 22nd, so we are going to look into that. and we believe State Board is planning on running a portal this year. They're running a portal right now for the village elections. It's, well, it was right now. It was a couple weeks ago it ended. But they were running a portal for the village elections. I believe they're planning on running a portal again for the local elections this year. And COVID is a valid excuse till the end of the year. And then at the end of the year, hopefully the no excuse absentee ballot proposal will pass, and we will have we won't need an excuse for an absentee. Chris asks, does the capital funding and the assembly proposal mean bricks and mortar money to help you make polling places more accessible? I don't think so. That's usually from the federal money, and that is not ready yet. I don't think none of the federal money in the Build Back America Act has to do with elections at all. It's just direct aid to the counties, and then it's up to the counties to decide whether they want to, make whole some of the election departments in them. Or the state. So I don't believe so. But the aid to localities money that's in the Senate budget is a wide open budget that could help make some of these polling places more accessible. David asks, will there be an online portal for voter registrations this year? I believe the target for that is next year. I think it's January 1st is when online voter registration is supposed to go into effect in 2022. And there's automatic voter registration as well. Part of the automatic voter registration bill was to push back the date a little bit because we were in the middle of the pandemic when it was signed. I think it may have been pushed back till the end of 2022. I will have to look into that, but no, it won't be this year. It definitely won't be this year. Okay, can I explain the county settlement with BOE employees RE back pay? It's not just BOE employees. This is and it is a settlement won by the CSEA union and their employees on comp time. However, it did affect BOE employees because for years we were told by county administration that because there was no money in the county OT budget for elections, that any overtime that we spent had to be paid out in comp time. We did not get an option from the administrations to do that. In 2017, I started to demand that at least in our draft budget that we would have money in the overtime lines so employees could get paid. I didn't always win agreement from my co-commissioner on that. In 2017, I did. In 2018, I did not. In 2019, I did. And in 2020, I did. So there was money in our draft budgets for overtime. So employees could choose. In each and every one of those cases, the legislature or the county exec, because after it goes from the draft from the Board of Elections, it goes over to the county exec, and then the county exec submits the budget, and then the legislature changes the budget. So at one of those two steps, either the county executive, I believe the county executive did it in 2017, and the legislature did it in 2019 and 20, they removed the overtime funding in the Board of Elections budget. However, what had changed was in 2019, we had a meeting with the county, and it was a new administration, and we were told that yes, employees did have a right to choose overtime, and we made sure, we argued that the contract said that it should. Our employees argued it. I argued it as well, and so we devised a system to allow the employees to pay for it. But of course, once again, it wasn't in the budget. And then what has happened over those years is that our county employees have built up tons of comp time in our department because of our mandatory overtime. We have mandatory overtime around election time to get all of the voter registrations done so we can meet our targets. And if you look at our website, on the statistics website, you can see the number of forms that have increased quadruple over the last 3 to 4 years. So we had more, but we haven't had more staff. In fact, we're the lowest staffed board of elections in the state. We have one for every 19,000 voters, as opposed to one for every 9,000 voters. That is, the average throughout the entire state. So that leads to a lot of overtime to be able to meet the needs. And as you saw in Onondaga County and other counties, we are under a mandate to get this done, and there is no choice. We have to do it. So I argued, along with my employees and along with the union, that they should have the option to be paid out of their comp time. And that decision in 2019, we had some extra money in our 103 line that we wanted to move over to pay out the comp time, and it didn't. It didn't happen. We weren't allowed to do that. There was a directive by the county exec that because there was a ongoing grievance, that there would be a hold off on that, and the grievance was finally resolved, and I believe the employees are going to be paid out. And now the ones that have large amounts of comp time, and that's a good thing. We did put in a funding request for 2021 for overtime. It was reduced. It was not eliminated entirely. In 2020, we spent a lot of money in overtime, but we had some grants that probably won't come back. So we were able to offset that money with there, and it didn't hit the county locality. But because we are mandated to get the job done, and we are mandated to spend to get the job done, if we go over budget on our overtime line, it is what it is. We're gonna do that to get the job done. And David also asked, a politician recently claimed that H.R. 1 was written by the devil. Can you comment on this odd claim? I can't comment on any odd claims like that. I will tell you that H.R. 1 may be our last best hope for saving our American democracy, with a hostile Supreme Court for voting rights who don't believe that there are issues out there with legislators shortening early voting times, eliminating early votings on Sundays. These are state legislators in other states. It's not happening in New York. Attacking vote by mail, attacking ballot boxes, attacking all these things that resulted in not only the highest turnout of a presidential election in our generation, but what every expert says was the most secure election in our generation this last time. And they're using the big lie that Trump has done about claiming the election was stolen from him, to put in place things in place that will restrict the rights of voters, because those voters are voting Democratic. And that, you see that in Atlanta, you see that in Georgia, you see that in Pennsylvania, you see that in Michigan. In some of these areas, you have Democratic governors that are going to stop it. In other areas, maybe not. And that's why we need H.R. 1. H.R. 1 needs to be passed. We need to either eliminate the filibuster or modify the filibuster if the Republicans won't come along with us on this, because it is that important. It's about saving our democracy and making sure that everyone, everywhere, has an equal right to vote, and not reliance on a state legislature that is hostile to voting reforms. So I hope H.R. 1 gets passed, and I hope we end or change the filibuster to do so. Well, that's about it for me today. Tomorrow I'll have a wonky Wednesday for the town of Lafayette. So check that out. On Thursday, I'll be talking to County Comptroller Marty Masterpole. His first time on my Zoom with Zarni. We'll be talking about the state of the county budget, what the American Rescue Plan is going to do to help the county, and his first year and a half in office here, under one of the most trying circumstances, I'm sure. And then on, of course, this Sunday I have my Sunday seminar about ballot, turning in ballots, which starts next week, and also challenging those ballots. So if you're interested in that, join the live Zoom call by going to the event on my Facebook page, or wait for the broadcast later that night. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all safe. Please wear a mask. I think I left my mask in my bag in the back. But please wear a mask when you're going out. Please, still stay safe and as much distance as possible. We're hoping by July 4th we're going to come back, but we need everybody to go out there and get the shot if you can get the shot, and help us all out by getting as many people vaccinated as possible so we can all be together this summer in a way that's more normal. All right, bye-bye.